Ladies, listen up. If you want to walk into any room with confidence, respect, and power, then you got to start with how you talk. High-value women don't just say words, they speak with intention, clarity, and grace. Steve Harvey always says, a woman's worth is not about what she wears or how she looks, it's about her mindset, her voice, and her boundaries. When we talk about how high-value women speak, one of the most important things to understand is confidence. Now, confidence is not something you just wake up with every morning. It's something you build, something you cultivate over time. High-value women don't stumble over their words or second-guess what they're about to say. They speak with a steady voice, a calm assurance that comes from knowing who they are and what they stand for. It's not about being loud or aggressive, it's about being clear and firm. Think about the way people react when you talk with confidence. When a woman speaks with certainty, people lean in, they listen. They respect what she says because her words have weight behind them. That confidence is magnetic. It makes others want to engage with her. It also makes her feel powerful because she knows she's being heard. Steve Harvey often talks about the importance of a woman knowing her worth, and this starts with how she talks to herself and others. If you're constantly second-guessing yourself or apologizing unnecessarily in conversation, it signals to others that you don't believe in your own value. A high-value woman understands that her voice is an extension of her self-respect. When she walks into a room and starts speaking, she commands attention not by shouting, but by the strength and clarity of her words. Clarity is just as important as confidence. Speaking clearly means you know exactly what you want to say, and you say it in a way that others can understand without confusion. High-value women avoid filler words like, like, or you know, because these take away from the impact of their message. Instead, they pause, gather their thoughts, and deliver their points with precision. That doesn't mean they speak like a robot. It means they are intentional with their words. When you talk clearly, you reduce misunderstandings. You don't leave people guessing about your intentions or feelings. This is crucial in every area of life, from personal relationships to professional settings. Imagine a high-value woman negotiating a deal or setting boundaries with a partner. If she speaks clearly and confidently, she reduces the chance of being misinterpreted or taken advantage of. Her words create a solid foundation for respect. Now, confidence and clarity often go hand in hand with preparation. You see, high-value women don't wing it. They come prepared, whether that's knowing what they want out of a conversation or having facts ready to back up their points. Preparation builds confidence because it removes the fear of being caught off guard. If you're unsure about what you're saying, it shows, and others pick up on that immediately. Steve Harvey tells stories about how women sometimes sell themselves short by not speaking up or undervaluing their opinions. That's a habit that needs to change. You might think your voice doesn't matter or that you're not qualified enough to speak on a subject, but let me tell you something. Your perspective is valuable. High-value women recognize that their life experience and their unique viewpoint make their voice worth listening to. Confidence in speech also means being able to handle criticism or disagreement without losing your composure. When a high-value woman speaks, she's open to hearing other opinions, but she doesn't back down from her truth. She listens, processes, and responds thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally or defensively. This takes a lot of self-control and maturity, but it's what separates a woman with true confidence from someone who just talks to fill silence. Another important thing about high-value women talk is their tone. Confidence isn't just in the words themselves, it's in how you say them. A strong, steady tone communicates power, but so does warmth and kindness. Being confident doesn't mean being cold or harsh. In fact, high-value women know how to use their tone to connect with others. They can be firm and clear while still sounding approachable and respectful. When you speak with confidence and clarity, you create a space where people feel comfortable engaging with you. You set the energy for the conversation. And when you do that consistently, people begin to see you as a leader, someone who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to ask for it. That's the kind of woman Steve Harvey talks about when he says, be the prize, not the pursuer. Confidence also shows up in the way a woman handles silence during conversations. Some people rush to fill every pause because they're afraid of being judged or misunderstood. But high-value women understand that silence can be powerful. When you pause before answering, you give yourself a moment to collect your thoughts, which leads to clearer, more deliberate speech. Plus, silence can signal confidence because it shows you're comfortable not needing to fill space just for the sake of it. Public speaking trainings. One more thing. High-value women don't apologize for their opinions or needs. They don't say things like, I'm sorry, but, or this might sound silly, but, when sharing their thoughts. Instead, they own their voice fully. Apologizing unnecessarily diminishes confidence and makes others question your authority in the conversation. When you believe in what you say, there's no need to soften your words with apologies. So how do you build this kind of confident and clear way of talking? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to how you speak during your daily conversations. Are you hesitating? Are you apologizing too much? Are you clear about what you want to say? Next, practice. Try speaking in front of a mirror, recording your voice, or even having small conversations where you intentionally focus on being confident and clear. Reading and expanding your vocabulary can help too because it allows you to express yourself more precisely. But remember, it's not about sounding fancy or complicated. It's about being understood and respected. And lastly, believe in your worth. Know that your voice matters and that you deserve to be heard. High-value women talk with confidence and clarity because they value themselves, and that's the kind of energy that draws respect and opens doors. When you start to embody this way of speaking, you'll notice the difference not just in how others treat you, but in how you feel about yourself. That's powerful. When high-value women talk, one of the most defining characteristics of their speech is how they set boundaries. Boundaries aren't just rules for other people to follow. They are a reflection of how much you respect yourself and how much you expect others to respect you. When a woman understands this, her words take on a new kind of power. She doesn't just communicate to be heard, she communicates to protect her peace, her time, and her worth. Many women struggle with setting boundaries because they fear upsetting others or being seen as difficult. But here's the truth. Boundaries are not about pushing people away or being rude. They're about making it clear what is acceptable and what is not in your life. High-value women don't leave this to chance or hope people will just get it. They express their limits clearly and confidently, and they do it with respect, both for themselves and for others. When you speak with boundaries, you're saying, this is who I am, and this is what I will and won't tolerate. That kind of clarity is refreshing in a world where people often overextend themselves, people please, or tolerate behavior that drains their energy. A high-value woman doesn't do that because she knows her time and emotional well-being are precious. She won't let anyone walk over her just because they want something or because she feels guilty saying no. Respect and boundaries go hand in hand. You cannot expect people to respect you if you don't respect yourself enough to set limits. High-value women speak in ways that demand respect, and they give respect in return. They are polite but firm. They understand that respect is not about fear or submission. It's about mutual understanding and valuing each other's space and feelings. When a high-value woman sets a boundary in conversation, she does it without anger or harshness. She doesn't need to yell or insult to make her point. Instead, she speaks calmly, clearly, and confidently. For example, if someone crosses a line, she might say something like, I'm not comfortable discussing that, or I appreciate your opinion, but I don't agree with that approach. She's direct but respectful, and that disarms conflict rather than escalating it. This kind of communication takes practice because it's easy to slip into passive or aggressive speech patterns. Passive communication happens when a woman doesn't express her needs clearly, instead hoping others will guess them. Aggressive communication is when she expresses her needs in a way that's disrespectful or hurtful. High-value women strike a balance. Assertive communication. That means stating their boundaries clearly and respectfully without apology or guilt. Another important aspect is consistency. Boundaries only work when they are consistent. If you tell someone you don't like a certain behavior but keep tolerating it, you're sending mixed signals. High-value women stay consistent with their words and actions. If she says no, it means no. If she sets a time limit, she sticks to it. This consistency teaches others how to treat her and builds her reputation as someone who takes herself seriously. High-value women also know that boundaries are not just about saying no, they're about saying yes to the right things. When you set boundaries, you create space for what really matters to you. It could be saying yes to opportunities that align with your goals, yes to friendships that uplift you, and yes to relationships that respect your worth. When you speak with boundaries, your yes carries power because it's not just anything you accept to avoid conflict. It's something you choose deliberately. Respectful communication also means listening. High-value women don't just set boundaries, they also listen to others' boundaries. They understand that respect is a two-way street. When you respect someone else's limits, it fosters mutual trust and deeper connection. That's why high-value women often have healthy relationships. They know how to balance speaking their truth and hearing others' truth. When you combine boundaries with respect in how you talk, you protect yourself from being taken advantage of and create space for genuine connections. You teach others how to treat you by the way you speak and stand up for yourself. Steve Harvey often talks about how women sometimes allow themselves to be treated less than they deserve because they don't speak up. That changes when you learn to communicate your boundaries clearly. It's important to remember that setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you protect your energy and time, you become stronger and more focused. People will respect you more because they see you value yourself. And when you respect yourself, that confidence shows in your voice and demeanor. You might wonder how to start setting boundaries if you're not used to it. Start small. Practice saying no to little things that don't align with your values or needs. Notice how it feels. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but over time it gets easier. You'll notice that people start to respect you more, and your relationships become healthier. High-value women build this muscle every day. They don't wait until a boundary is crossed to speak up. They proactively protect their space. Another tip is to use I statements when setting boundaries. Instead of blaming or accusing, say things like, I feel uncomfortable when, or I need. This helps keep the conversation focused on your feelings and needs rather than making it about the other person's faults. It keeps the dialogue respectful and constructive. High-value women also avoid over-explaining or justifying their boundaries. You don't owe anyone a long explanation for protecting your peace. When you explain too much, it can open the door for negotiation or pushback. Keep it simple and firm. I'm not available for that right now is enough. Lastly, remember that respect for yourself must come first. You can't expect others to respect your boundaries if you don't respect them yourself. That means standing firm even if it's uncomfortable or unpopular. It means choosing your peace over pleasing others. And it means knowing that the right people will respect you for the boundaries you set. When high-value women talk, their words carry a sense of positivity that uplifts everyone around them. This doesn't mean they ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. It means that their communication focuses on solutions, encouragement, and growth instead of complaints, gossip, or negativity. The way a woman chooses to speak reflects not only her mindset, but also her energy. And high-value women understand that energy is contagious. When they speak with positivity, they create an environment where others feel inspired and motivated rather than drained or discouraged. Negativity is a trap that many people fall into, especially when dealing with stress or challenges. It's easy to get caught up in complaining or pointing out what's wrong. But high-value women know better. They recognize that constant negativity not only repels people, but also drags down their own spirit. Instead of dwelling on the problem, they focus on what can be done, what lessons can be learned, and how they can improve the situation. This mindset shows in the way they talk. They offer encouragement and constructive feedback rather than criticism and blame. Harvey often talks about the power of words and how the way you speak can shape your reality. When a woman speaks positively, she is reinforcing a mindset of abundance and possibility. High-value women use their words to build others up, to affirm their worth, and to celebrate progress, no matter how small. They understand that every conversation is an opportunity to plant seeds of hope and confidence in those around them. Upliftment in speech also means avoiding gossip and toxic talk. High-value women steer clear of conversations that tear others down. They know that gossip doesn't serve anyone and usually reflects poorly on the person spreading it. Instead, they redirect conversations toward more meaningful topics or choose silence if the discussion is harmful. This creates a reputation of trustworthiness and integrity, because people know that when a high-value woman talks, she's not speaking to harm, but to help. When high-value women encourage others, they do so sincerely and specifically. Instead of vague compliments like, "good job," they might say, "I really admire how you handle that situation with patience and grace." This kind of specific praise shows that they are paying attention and that their words carry real meaning. It helps others feel seen and valued, which builds stronger connections and mutual respect. Positivity also shows in how high-value women talk about themselves. They avoid negative self-talk or putting themselves down in conversation. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough," they speak with self-encouragement and belief in their own abilities. This not only boosts their confidence, but also influences how others see them. When you speak positively about yourself, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated. In addition, high-value women use positive language to set the tone for difficult conversations. When addressing problems or conflicts, they avoid blame or harsh criticism. Instead, they focus on finding solutions and expressing their feelings constructively. For example, instead of saying, "you always mess up," they might say, "I feel upset when this happens, and I'd like us to find a way to fix it." This kind of communication opens the door to understanding and cooperation rather than defensiveness. Another powerful way high-value women uplift through their speech is by sharing stories of resilience and growth. They don't just talk about their successes. They also share lessons from challenges they've overcome. This transparency inspires others to keep going and reminds everyone that setbacks are part of the journey. Their words become a source of strength for those who might be struggling, showing that it's possible to rise above difficulties with the right mindset. High-value women also understand the importance of gratitude in their conversations. Expressing gratitude shifts the focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. Whether it's thanking a friend for their support or acknowledging small wins in daily life, gratitude expressed in speech helps create a positive atmosphere. It encourages others to adopt a similar outlook, making interactions more joyful and meaningful. When high-value women speak with positivity and upliftment, they also become role models. People want to be around those who make them feel good about themselves and about life. Their words create an energy that attracts opportunities, friendships, and partnerships. This doesn't mean they're perfect or that they never face hard times. It means they choose to respond with hope and encouragement, and that choice shapes the quality of their relationship. It's important to note that speaking positively doesn't mean ignoring problems or emotions. High-value women are authentic. They acknowledge challenges but don't let negativity define their narrative. They express their feelings honestly but balance them with optimism and a focus on moving forward. This balance creates a safe space for real conversations that lead to growth and healing. If you want to start speaking like a high-value woman with positivity and upliftment, start by being mindful of your language. Notice when you're slipping into negative patterns or gossip, and consciously redirect your words. Practice giving sincere compliments and encouragement to people around you. Work on speaking kindly to yourself, even when things don't go as planned. Over time, this shift will become natural, and you'll see how your words begin to change your world and the world of those you speak to. When high-value women talk, every word they speak carries purpose and intent. This means their communication isn't random or careless. They don't just fill silence with meaningless chatter or speak without thinking. Instead, they carefully choose their words because they understand the power language holds. Words can build bridges or burn them down. They can open doors or close them. The high-value woman uses her words like tools with intention, aiming to create positive outcomes for herself and others. Speaking with purpose means being mindful of why you're saying something and what you hope to achieve by saying it. It requires a level of self-awareness that many people overlook. High-value women don't talk just to be heard. They talk to convey clear messages, to influence, to inspire, or to set boundaries. They understand that words are not just sounds. They carry energy and meaning, and that meaning shapes reality. You'll often hear Steve Harvey emphasize how important it is to speak life into situations and into yourself. Speaking life means using your voice to encourage growth, hope, and progress. High-value women don't waste energy on idle talk or gossip because they know it doesn't serve their higher goals. Instead, when they speak, it's because they have something valuable to say, something that will move the conversation or the relationship forward. Intended speech also means that high-value women avoid speaking out of reaction or emotion alone. They don't let anger, fear, or frustration control their words. Instead, they take a moment to process their feelings, to think about the impact of what they're about to say, and then respond thoughtfully. This control helps them communicate more effectively and avoid unnecessary conflict. When you speak with purpose, you become less reactive and more proactive in guiding your relationships and situations. Another important aspect of speaking with intent is knowing your audience and tailoring your message accordingly. High-value women read the room. They sense what others need to hear and how to say it in a way that will be understood and respected. This doesn't mean they change their core message or values, but they adjust their tone, timing, and wording to make their communication more effective. It's a skill that comes from experience and self-awareness. Purposeful speech also shows up in the way high-value women tell their stories. When they share their experiences, they do so to teach, to inspire, or to connect, not to seek pity or validation. Their stories have a point and a lesson, and they share them with clarity and conviction. This kind of storytelling builds trust and credibility, making others more likely to listen and engage. High-value women also use purposeful speech to set clear goals and intentions. Whether they're talking about their career, relationships, or personal growth, they articulate what they want in a way that leaves no doubt. This clarity not only helps others understand their vision, but also reinforces their own commitment. When you speak your goals out loud with intent, you're more likely to follow through and make those goals a reality. Intentional communication also means knowing when not to speak. Sometimes, silence is more powerful than words. High-value women recognize that not every situation calls for a response. They choose their moments wisely and don't feel pressure to fill every gap in conversation. This kind of restraint shows maturity and respect for the dynamics of the interaction. When speaking with purpose, high-value women also focus on solutions rather than problems. They avoid getting stuck in negativity or endless complaining. Instead, they direct conversations toward actionable steps and positive outcomes. This approach makes them problem solvers rather than problem makers, which naturally attracts respect and support. Another key point is that purposeful speech involves honesty and authenticity. High-value women speak their truth even when it's difficult. They don't sugarcoat or manipulate to get what they want. Their words are genuine reflections of their thoughts and feelings. This authenticity builds deeper connections because people sense when someone is being real versus when they're hiding behind polite facades. Purpose and intent in speech also mean taking responsibility for your words. High-value women understand that what they say has consequences. They don't blame others for misunderstandings or conflicts that arise from their own words. Instead, they own their communication, apologize when necessary, and seek to clarify or make amends. This accountability further strengthens their credibility and the respect they receive. High-value women also inspire others through their purposeful language. They use their voice to motivate, to encourage, and to lift others toward their own goals. Their words plant seeds of confidence and possibility, and they do so consistently and deliberately. When you speak with intent, you become a catalyst for positive change, not only in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. If you want to develop this kind of intentional way of speaking, start by asking yourself before you talk, why am I saying this? What do I want to achieve? How will my words affect the person I'm speaking to? Practicing this kind of self-check helps you become more mindful and strategic in your communication. Remember, your words are powerful. They can shape your relationships, your career, and your sense of self. When you speak with purpose and intent, you take control of your narrative and influence the world around you in a positive way. This is the kind of communication that high-value women master, and it's one of the key reasons they command respect and create